What's up, everybody? It's your boy Maniac. I'm here this morning. Miss Alita is at trade day. I was feeling a little under the weather, so I figured I'd stay here, feed the animals, do some of the farm chores that she does while I'm away at work. But what we're gonna do today is we're gonna deal with our worm beds. And what I have here is eggshells that we have crushed up to a fine powder. And what this does, y'all, is they use it like grit, but not only that, eggshells help control the pH in your worm bed. It also takes the acidity out. I also have some ground up wild game bird feed, which is all plant-based. And it's got a lot of, corn and some wheat stuff and all. I mean, any kind of grain that you have, you can grind it up, y'all. What happened was our quail feed got really bad wet and it made these big clumps. We accidentally, one of us left the lid open, and those big clumps, I could have broke them up and all that, but we just ended up replacing that feed. Well, I ground up those huge chunks because I've turned it into worm food, as you see right here, and that's what we're gonna do. But by adding these eggshells and controlling the pH and the acidity, that is a crucial thing to have in your worm bed, because you don't want to have too much water. You don't want to have too much acidic activity going on down here. You don't want the worm bed to become anaerobic. So what I'm going to do, I normally would use a cup, but y'all, I didn't bring a cup. So we're just going to dip our hands in it and we're going to scatter it across the top like so. It don't take much, but this is a pretty good sized worm bed. So I just want to coat the whole top of it and get it. But these eggshells help them grind up their food. It'll help all kinds of things with the activity with the worms, y'all. And everybody you watch and look at, they tell you that, crushed eggshells is great. So we're going to believe and listen to that, because I am not a worm guru, but I will work this food and these eggshells into the dirt and get it worked in real good. Yes, I can leave it on top, but I want to work it in because I don't want them feeding in just one spot. I want them feeding everywhere. And I mean, there are reasons why you do that, but I'm not collecting worms or worm castings right now. I'm trying to get my worm colony colonized pretty much. So that's what I'm up to right now. Mainly just getting everything they need. I'm probably going to use all of those eggshells because it wasn't a whole lot anyway. I'm just going to coat the top of everything, and then I'm going to work it in the soil. But I've ground all this. Make sure everything you put in is very good and ground up and dry. The smaller the pieces, the better, because, well, you don't want big old clumps in it, because you want them to be able to process it no problem at all. And that's what I'm trying to do right now. All right, looks like we got a good consistency here. I may add some more eggshells, y'all, because this is a whole lot of worms in here, and a whole lot. We'll add some more into there, because there is coconut coir in here, but I want to make sure that they have plenty of substrate, plenty of greens and veggies. And with all your grains and all, I tear up leaves and I put them in here. I put in hay, as you see right here. I've got hay, but there is this little thing that I've been hearing. Oh, you have to dry out all your greens before you put them in. Y'all, I don't see that problem. We can put greens in, and while they're breaking down, the worms will be eating them and breaking them down. I can put green in here, or I can dehydrate them, but I'm not just going to be using my dehydrator to dehydrate a whole bunch of weeds when I have a lot of other stuff that I'd like to have dehydrated in my house. But you can take and put them in a bin and let them dry out that way. That works really good. Just get you a little plastic tote, fill it up with a bunch of weeds, wait for it to come to a really good dry. That's what we do. Then just put them in here. But I have put just greenery in here, and it works out the same way. Got little Cairo here, one of these little, he's actually fully grown. I don't know why he's so small, but ain't he gorgeous? I'm not really the cat guy. My wife is more of the cat girl here. And but yeah, so now that we have all that put in here, I'm just going to take my hand and I'm just going to run all this around and get it down in there. Any little piece of, like the paint off your wheelbarrow, make sure when you're doing all this that you're picking all that up. And we'll get this worked in, and this will definitely help with my pH. And the soil in here is still extremely damp, not wet, just damp. And that is good. It helps them able to break everything down. Now with the lid off, the worms are very deep, but I can reach down and bring it up. See, we got worms here. You don't really have to keep it really, really wet, that I've noticed. But I mean, you still want to have, like, I keep the bottom pretty damp is what I do. And I'm not sure if they like for me to disturb their dirt like this and move them around. But there's so many worms and there's so much stuff. I mean, there's just worms everywhere. Tons and tons of worms. Yes, buddy. Come look at the hole you dug. Yes, sir. I'll do that in just a minute, okay? I'm making a video right now. But as you can see, we have tons of worms here. I mean, everywhere you dig piles and piles of worms. It doesn't matter. I mean, there is an abundance of worms in here. And anytime you see something you don't want in your substrate, just pick it out, y'all. We have worms galore in here. Look at that. Worms everywhere. But we're just getting all this worked in. I want them to be, wherever they go, they run into food. That's what I want. Because there's so many worms. And they're going to need lots of food. And I just like, I don't know, I like spoiling my worms, y'all. Look at all the worms. Can y'all see this? Holy smokes. There's worms everywhere in here. They're just everywhere. But get it all worked in right here. Look at the worms. Oh, man. There's just worms. I mean, I am super pleased and tickled pink about this worm bed and how it's turned out. And I try to keep it as healthy as I can keep it. I'm checking on it. I don't check on it every day, but I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I could check on it every day because, I mean, it's cool to watch them eat, watch them grow, watch them do everything they do. And then what I'll do is I'll put some hay in here. I'll scatter the hay out in one spot and let them have that there. And I accidentally threw this in a wet wheelbarrow, but luckily it's not too much moisture in here anyway. And it's just the wet cardboard that's actually going in here. So it'll just help them break down this cardboard for real. Definitely help them break it down. But I don't want the hay to touch it. So we'll do this. I mean, the hay really don't matter. They're breaking it down. They were under it whenever I first opened this. But y'all, you can play with it. It's yours. You do with what you want with what is yours. Trial and error. If things don't work out exactly the way you want it to, back up and punt, y'all. And I'm wetting all this right now. I accidentally threw it in the wheelbarrow that had water in it. I didn't realize there was water, but like I said, it's not too wet. It's just damp. And that's exactly what you want. That is how I feed my worms. I don't always have these ready-made powders, but I had time this morning to make them. We had some excess in eggshells, so I ground those up really fine powder so that they can break it down, use it in their gizzards to break down their food. Plus it's controlling the acidity pH of this worm bed, and that's something you need to take care of. You don't want your bed to go anaerobic for sure. And yeah, that's just a quick tip. Questions that I've been asked, what do I do? Y'all, I've actually taken just plain old weeds out of the woods. You can put them in a bucket with a lid, a bin with a lid, leave them in there until they completely dry out. Come back, put them right here in your worm bed. Have I used raw before? Yes, it works too. It just takes longer to break down before it dries out. You can use anything, grits. We'll sprinkle dry grits in here. That works really well. Any kind of your feeds for your animals. If you ever have an accident, people have them all the time. If water gets in it and it gets all clumpy, y'all put it in something, pulverize it up pretty good, put it in a blender, a coffee grinder like we use. I mean, y'all, turn it into a powder, sprinkle it on your worm beds. You don't really have to do this heavy of a feeding, but about once a month, because there is still so much coconut coir in here. There's cardboard, there's hay. I actually have some weeds down in here. I actually keep rabbit poop, and I add the rabbit poop in here. Savannah, will you go get that bucket out from under the rabbits for me? And I could make a catch bin, but I don't need a whole lot of poop. But I just do it because, well, you're gonna add to your worms, and every 3 weeks to a month, you're adding to your worms anyway. So I just want to, the rabbit poop is perfect. It's got still food that wasn't broken down all the way. They love it. It's actually where I actually got my worms from. They kept coming up. And y'all, that's how simple it is and how cheap it is for you to raise your own worms. I'm using everything from my farm. The worms I attracted with all of my quail poop and rabbit poop. The food that I feed them comes from the eggshells. Well, that's mainly for the pH and the, you know, for them to use it in their gizzards, but I'm sure they can still break it down. It's great calcium for the worms for sure. But I'm able to use the weeds, the vegetable tops, carrot tops, lettuces, spinaches, you name it. And right here, my wife cut grass. So inside of all this rabbit poop is dried out grass because it's been in this bucket in a very hot time of the week, y'all. It was extremely hot here. So we'll move the hay out of the way and we'll just sprinkle rabbit poop right here in this corner. That way we know that there is even more food in here. And y'all, before long, I may just go straight rabbit poop. When I was a kid, my dad, we would go and buy worms from a man to go fishing. And when you opened his freezers, he had old freezers, big ones, them big 8-9 foot ones. When you opened it, it was slap full of rabbit poop. He had rabbits, man, he had tons of rabbits everywhere. And he would just reach in and he would fill it up, y'all. So if you don't want to raise rabbits and you do want to raise worms, why not raise them both? You're able to feed both your worms and your garden with the rabbit poop. And I mean, y'all, if you can take so many things on your farm and turn it into so many types of fuel to fuel your farm, it's just a win-win no matter what. But I appreciate y'all watching this video. I hope it wasn't too boring. And I know worms don't sound like a whole lot of fun, and sometimes I don't guess they are, but I do enjoy watching them feed, watching how they move in the bed, how quickly they can turn over everything in the bed and turn it into worm castings. I mean, I just think it's one of the coolest composting ideas you can do, because just watching a pile of compost that you have to flip every now and then, keep adding green and carbon and keep hosing it down, it's not as fun as a worm bed. So if you're wanting to get it done, but you don't want to do the whole turning it over and wetting it, y'all, worms is another great option. Hope you enjoyed this video. Till next time, I am your boy Maniac. We out.